Hello everyone, today is September 8th, 2023. This is a 7-day warning before the day of Yom Teruah, the first of the Moedim this month. There is much to discuss, and I'm going to try and keep it very succinct because this is a very, very important warning that I urge you to watch all the way through. And I will be reposting this on my YouTube channel so you can receive this warning in full. For any of you who are watching, you have seen that we have the 13th storm forming out in the Atlantic right now. The 13th storm. Any of you who have studied anything at all regarding the enemy know that 13th is very significant. 13th is the epitome of evil workings in the world. Now, it's also very striking to me because as I was seeking more and more confirmation about the real true day of Yom Teruah, which starts the evening of Thursday, the 14th, into the 15th, the evening of the 15th, which is Friday. That is Yom Teruah. And then from Yom Teruah, the evening of the 15th, into the evening, the next morning, early morning, before sun rises, of the first day, Sunday, that is Shabbat. So we have a high Shabbat and a weekly Shabbat coming up next weekend. So, this is a week's warning, 7-day warning before this event. This storm named Lee, which is ironic because it couldn't be a more personal confirmation for me because my middle name is Lee. This storm is quickly gathering strength. It's going to break all the records. It's going to wreak all sorts of havoc. It's going to bring Father's judgment. Lee in English means a clearing or a meadow. Now, Yom Teruah is the time and season when a new king is coronated in Jerusalem. Yom Teruah, okay? When the horns are blown, the shofars are blown for the king, what are they saying? Make way for the king. Make way for the king. Clear the way for the king. Clearing. Lee means clearing. We know in Matthew 24 that one will be taken, one will be left. The tares will be gathered to burn. All the dead trees, since men are referred to as trees in the Bible, all the dead trees will be cleared. All the tares will be cleared. Clearing the way for the King, Yahushua HaMashiach. And the other side to this, meadow, where Lee means meadow, remember those who are his people. He makes us to lay down in green pastures for peace and rest as the good shepherd that he is, our meadow. So keep that in mind. However, too, Lee in Hebrew, when you think about it, it means weary. Lee in Hebrew means weary. And we read in Revelation where Satan, the enemy, is wearing out the saints. Many of us are very weary of preaching the truth and having it fall on deaf ears. When you think about gardening, if you have weeds taking over the good plants, it wears the good plants out. And that is why it's important to clear out the weeds, to clear out the dead trees so that forest may flourish or the garden may produce a large harvest. I hope the dots are connecting for you, because I will tell you that this morning I received a word from the Almighty Yahuwah through his Ruach HaKodesh. Thus says Yahuwah, my daughter, warn the people. Warn my people, for they are not ready for my son's coming. I see people everywhere. I see people everywhere. Father has taken me into this time of semi-rest. It has not been a full rest. He wanted me to step back and to observe, and he showed me many, many things. There are many who claim his name in vain. They break the commandments. They claim his name in vain, even his true name, Yahuwah. Though there are those out there who do not have it yet, do not seek it out, and those who are even trying to twist it. But those who try to claim that they know his name, they are taking it in vain. They are taking it in vain. Why? Because they are still too tied to this world. They are like Lot's wife. Okay? They are busy doing things that do not suit a true child of his, Yahuwah. Excuse me. What I have observed, especially of late, is there is way too much arguing over twisted lies. Okay? And what I'm seeing is all sorts of believers, both those who are Christian, those who claim to be Torah observant, those who know the name of Yahuwah, those who call him Yahweh. You're too busy with these disputes and not seeking him fully. You are too busy in your pride wanting to be right instead of humbly listening to him and not being distracted by these demons, not being distracted by the distractions, all those things. You're not keeping your eye on him, solely on him. And he pointed out very clearly to me today, if Noah had kept arguing with his neighbors about the flood coming, trying to prove that he was right, because he knew he was right. It wasn't that he was wrong. He was right. He was right. But if he had kept arguing with the neighbors about the flood coming, he would have been so distracted, he would have not built the ark in time, and he would have perished with the wicked. Be wise in your conversations. Be wise in your conversations. Yes, definitely enter into dialogue, but do it prayerfully, seeking guidance through him, through the Ruach HaKodesh, because there are some that are not even worth a breath, not even worth a thought. Some are just the demons coming, distracting you, knocking on your door, poking you in your pride. Some definitely explore the option to see if they're ready to receive a seed of truth. If they are not, give them 3 strikes and they're out. Give wisdom and correction, but do not engage in fruitless arguments with those who are bent on misunderstanding you and rejecting your message. This is pure foolishness. Pure foolishness. And Father's children are not foolish. So check your pride. That's where it boils down to. That was the first sin that ever destroyed everything, was the fact that Satan got in his pride. And he got other angels and other beings in their pride. And that's what happened. Pride is the root of all evil. It's not money. No, pride is the root of all evil. Be a wise virgin. Okay? Many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. But I have been hearing this so loudly in my spirit for the last 3 weeks. The bridegroom is coming. The bridegroom is coming. Make way for the king, right? Like I said in the beginning of this message. That storm named Lee is making the way. The bridegroom is coming. You have to make sure that you have enough oil in your lamp. You have enough oil to spare. You've trimmed your wick and your light is burning bright. And you have one focus only, and that is Yahuwah. He has told us that, he says, I will instruct you and teach you in this way that you are to go, and I will give you counsel. And then he's watching us. My eyes will be watching you. He's testing us. We have the Bible. We are to study it. We are to meet with him in prayer. We're supposed to be in humility and not in our flesh and thinking that we are understanding things when it's not what he's teaching us. He will watch us, and he's watching us do all these arguments with neighbors that are fruitless. People are failing their tests. He's giving us tests in these last days, especially too about the seventh day Shabbat. The seventh day Shabbat is eternal. And I'm sorry for you who are lunar Sabbatarians. You're completely wrong and off the mark. You claim that it can't be Saturday because then it worships Saturnalia, Saturn. Well, guess what? Each single day of the week has a pagan name, so it doesn't matter that if it's Wednesday is the Sabbath day for you that month or Tuesday the month before. It's all wrong. The one thing that doesn't change is the number of the days in the week. Sunday is the first day, Monday is the second day, so on and so forth. Seventh day happens to be renamed by the pagans Saturday, but that's not his day, because as we read in the Bible, Yahuwah made all the days. Those are all his days. Satan can't add to the days or take away from them. Father has full control over his days and his weeks that were established before the earth was formed. There is ample evidence. Ample evidence. Look at this. It's all in the language. Even though the Tower of Babel and the language was, confused, people still have a root word for the Saturday, the seventh day. Look at that. S-H-A-B. S-A-B. They are all Shabbat or Sabbath. It is undisputable. And one reason why Satan has got you off of the seventh day Sabbath is because he knows in Ezekiel 20:20 that keeping the seventh day Sabbath is his mark, Yahuwah's mark on his true people. They are not deceived. They're not distracted. They don't go off in diverse places off the narrow way. Yahuwah is his name. When you look at the original Hebrew names of the prophets, many of them have Yahu after it, meaning that they are the prophet, the messenger of God, of Yahuwah, the creator. Yashayahu, Isaiah 42:8, I am Yahuwah. I will not give my name or my glory to any other, okay? That he is Yahuwah. Yahuwah, not Yahweh. And yes, people go, oh, we shouldn't fight about the sacred names. That's absolute baloney, because if he is not going to give his glory to another, that is definitely something that a child of his will stand on firmly. And we will not give an inch. We will not go along to get along and sacrifice the truth on the false altar of unity. False unity. And his name is not Yeshua either. His son's name is not Yeshua. Why? Because Shua means desolating, evil, destructive, ruin, idolatry, false, useless, in vain. It's not Yeshua, it's Yahusha. He came in his father's name, Yahusha, which meaning Yahuwah is salvation. And so for any of you who have decided, oh, Yahuwah is not his name anymore, I'm thinking it's Yahweh or Yahweh or all those others, you keep believing that. And then you test it according to this word right here in Psalm 34:15. When the righteous cry out for help, Yahuwah hears and rescues them from all their troubles. If you cry out to God or Jesus or Jehovah or Yahweh or all those kind of things, and you think that that's calling on his name, and he won't hear you. He won't hear you. He will not hear you. He does not hear the prayers of the unrighteous. He does not hear them. You cry out to anyone other than Yahuwah, you will not receive any kind of help or protection. You need to humble yourself. Reason most of you don't understand the true name is because you are too busy debating over nonsense, like I pointed out earlier. You don't know his name because you are distracted, caught up in your pride. Ooh, someone called me this. Oh, and someone said that. And this, that, and the other. No, that's a bunch of high school baloney. Who cares what they say? Give them 3 strikes. Again, give them wisdom, give them correction. If they don't want to hear it, 3 strikes, you're out. You dust your sand off, or dust the sandals off and walk away. And then there's people who just want to throw the baby out with the bathwater completely, going, oh, we can't believe anything because it's all been twisted. Well, then you don't believe in the one true creator of this earth. People want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, saying, I'm stepping away from all of man's things. They don't realize that the truth has been twisted by man, but there is still truth there. And you need to seek the Father, Yahuwah, the Creator, and he will lead you to piece together all the truth that has been twisted by men. That is what, if you don't believe it, he can do that through his Ruach HaKodesh, as you follow his Son, the Messiah that showed us the way, then you have no faith in the one true creator of all. You don't believe in the one true creator of all. We are to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. We are to sift through the truth that's been twisted. We are to share that truth once we receive the confirmation out of the mouths of 2 or more witnesses, as we see in Deuteronomy and Matthew. We receive confirmation, and we are to, whatever's been whispered to us in our spirit as he reveals it to us, we are to shout from the rooftops. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. And as he sent out his servants in Matthew 10:14-16, it says, if anyone doesn't hear your words, I tell you, it will be more tolerable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town or that person. Think about how it was for Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh my goodness. He said it would be more tolerable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah more than that town, because he himself is sending us. So we are to dust our sandals off if no one listens. We are to dust off our feet if no one listens. The bride of Yahusha does not engage in petty, prideful arguments. Yes, you might be right according to Scripture. But what is your motivation? Are you wanting to be right in your own pride? Or are you going to choose to be righteous and not engage in this? Because right now, every word that everybody has thought, said, dreamt, prayed, everything is all written on heavenly tablets. Everything will be held to each individual's account, whether it be good or evil, as it says in Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. Everyone will be judged for what they have done if they have not repented. And they will be rewarded for those things that they have done, because we've been told by the Messiah to store up treasures in heaven, because that will be where our heart is. Okay? We are to think about the kingdom to come in our life with the Messiah in the millennial kingdom, which is coming sooner than most realize. But again, there's a lot of people who are like Lot's wife. They're looking back. They're going, oh, well, you can celebrate that holiday with your family, as long as you're not making anybody work and twist the Sabbath. They're being kind of like Lot's wife. Well, let me just remind you that the reason why we don't know what Lot's wife's name is because her name was blotted out of the book of life. For why? For disobedience, for lack of faith, for loving the world more than the Creator. Okay? We are at a time where you don't have time to argue with idiots. You don't have time. Yes, and I'm talking about family, friends. You don't have time for arguments. People don't realize how close we are. Some people go, oh, the tribulation is starting September 23rd. Well, guess what? No, that's wrong too. Just like when Yahushua stood right there in the face of the Pharisees, being tried, being convicted of crimes, he was standing before the tribunal. They saw him standing there right in front of their faces, and they knew the Torah, they knew the law and the prophets, they knew the prophecy. They saw him working all of these miracles and saying things, doing all of the things that was prophesied. Yet at the same time, they did not believe because they were looking for a different kind of Messiah. They were looking for another Messiah. And they thought that, there is Yahushua right there at the end of his ministry. The end of his ministry here on earth. Guys, we are not at the beginning of the tribulation. We are at the end. We are coming to the end, and these events leading up within this next week are going to be where it all starts to kick off. Those 3 days of darkness, yeah, you can bet it's coming quick. Think about this too. Fridays are usually when we have any kind of financial emergency in the world, especially here in the United States. This all goes down on a Friday, on the weekend. These kind of storms, could they cause a big blackout? Yeah. What do you think is going to happen to New York City? Right? We know what New York City represents if you've been paying attention at all and don't live under a rock. There are so many signs lining up. We are not at the beginning of tribulation. That's the thing is, it's called the frog slow boil. We've been in tribulation and the heat's been being turned up every year. And it's starting to get turned up faster and faster and it's getting super hot. People have no idea because they've become desensitized to it. But remember in Matthew where it talks about they'll be eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. And then suddenly, the calamities will come upon them. That means that no one's going to be locked down anywhere, right? Because you can't be eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage if you're locked down. Think about it, people. You've got to critically think. You've got to seek the truth and understanding and wisdom through the Ruach HaKodesh, asking Father to show it to you. This is a very, very urgent message, and I would pray that you don't disregard it just because it's a little longer. It's packed full of warning. But I'll tell you again, thus saith Yahuwah, daughter, warn the people, warn my people, for they are not ready for the coming of my Son. Are you ready? Are you ready?